All right, last time we videoed in Boston, I was trying to Boston qualify, and today is, I think it's March 7th. I have Boston qualified. Now, we're training for Western States now in June, and so that's going to be a pretty revolutionary run for me because I'm going to try to PR there this year. My best time was 27 hours and change. So we're going to try to beat that this year. I'm in Boston for the week on business. I was trying to look for some hills. The one that was within walking distance actually brought me to an international British school, so that was kind of cool. I didn't film it out of respect, but I was like the closest hill I can find in Brookline. Again, shout out to my coach Brant Stachel. He really helped me achieve my Boston qualifying time, 3:19:07. On the docket this year, in terms of races, we have Western States 100 in June. Then we have September Tour de Géants, the 330 kilometer, which is basically 220 miles. You get 150 hours to do it. Morning. Good afternoon. And you have to climb about 80,000 feet in 150 hours. So last year, I did the 130 kilometers. The year before, I did the 330, DNF'd at 130, under 30 miles. Around 50,000 feet gain, something like that, 45,000 feet gain. And then the year before that, I DNF'd at 118 miles. So I have about 85% of the course completed over the last 3 years. So I'm going to try to go for completion this year. Try. Okay, so some of you are asking, hey Vic, is 3:19:07 enough to get you into Boston Marathon? Yes, you qualified. I don't know, last year it was for a 50-year-old 3:25 to qualify, 3 hours 25 minutes, I believe that's 747 pace maybe. This year, it was 7:37 pace or 3 hours 20 and better. So technically, you're 5 minutes faster. Does that weed out more people? I don't know. So, of course, we hedged it even before we got on the Boston qualifying line. I also have a bid for California International Marathon in December. So those are kind of the short tentative goals I have. Guys, my goal really was to qualify for Boston, and I did it. So that to me is something that is really meaningful to me. So I'm thankful to be able to accomplish that goal. What I don't want is to get rid of my trail running to substitute for too much road running, because whenever I do that, I can get closer to an injury than I want. So road, trail, alternate, and that's the pathway that I'm on, and I recommend that to many people all the time. I'm not a professional coach like my coach is. He coaches hundreds of people. I don't have time for that, nor am I as good as him from that vantage point. But I always tell the people that I coach, friends, family, that listen, you want to alternate between trails and road, and you want to always include incline, decline as part of your training. And one thing I did very different this time, I don't say different as in super different, just more mindful of this year, was carb loading. So I don't want to say I carb loaded like I went out of town and ate 15 bagels before I ran my marathon. It wasn't that way. It was that I carb loaded with simple sugars and very little fat 2 days before the run, and I think that made a big difference. And I also fueled every 20 minutes with fructose and glucose. So I did about 60 grams of glucose and then about 10 to 20 grams of fructose after that. I was able to hold it down. I'm not gonna lie, there was a few moments there where I have some stitches on the side. It went away. I used some deep breathing exercises, those breathing exercises, to kind of curtail it, which I'm happy with. I think that's really the main summary, guys. Pacing. You can reference the video that my coach did with me where I go through all of the nuances of the run leading up to the race. And of course, we go through a pacing strategy. Listen, I was very mindful to run slow from the start and then kind of even pace myself to the finish line. And I just ran my own pace. I didn't let other people deter me or other people's paces influence how fast I ran. So I'll put the pace on the screen so you guys can have a good reference point. Okay, so for Western States training, the race is late June. If we can average 14-minute miles, mid-14, drink lots of tea. Remember, tea has electrolytes in it, magnesium, calcium, and also a lot of the salt that you take in from electrolyte drinks or even salt pill. But potassium, magnesium, and calcium can come from your tea. And guess what I filled with before my run at Boston after my run? Of course, tea, specifically our green tea Cloudline. And then for Western States, I plan on drinking tea throughout the race, along with real food, a lot of rice, not a lot of oil, not a lot of fat, to help me absorb the carbohydrates. Expect lots of rice from me and lots of even soup noodles. It's going to be my strategy. Eat frequently, eat constantly, and be able to drink lots of fluids. Tea hydrates you, doesn't dehydrate. So that's going to be sort of my mission for this next major race. Now, all right, we're going to put my coach's information on the bottom here. So for those of you who are looking for your next Boston qualifying time or to BQ, dude, Brent's your guy. Want to run faster? Brent's your guy. He does a lot of other things like triathlon. He coached for the Canadian team. So ping him, look at the information below. And you guys are welcome to ping me directly, leave your comments if you have questions on how the race transpired for me. Great. So this is actually where I trained 2 long runs before Boston. I trained here, 19-degree weather. Today it is 52 degrees. It's fantastic. So I'm really happy to be able to start my first run in my Western States training block back in Boston. And thanks, guys. Here we go. Western States.